some damn good espresso. Welcome back, pro wrestling fans. Welcome back, IWC. It's your old buddy, the guardian of chaos, Big Daddy. And I tell it like it is. I'll say that to say this. Coming to you live to tape 25 feet below the surface of the earth. Here for another episodic YouTube adventure on Guardian of Chaos, the YouTube channel. Here for Chaos Corner. One man, unique, unedited, unscripted, raw dog for you, the fans. I can't thank you guys and gals enough for being here as we head into this weekend's AEW Revolution from Los Angeles, California. We're here to do a little preview and prediction show before the pay-per-view. So I want you to sit back and relax, grab a beverage, grab a snack, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, drop an elbow on that like button, share, subscribe. Shout out to my mods for holding it down, keeping it real, and maintaining. And that would be my brother from another mother, Austin Nance, and of course, the OTS Tribal Queen. We're going to jump right into this weekend's pay-per-view for AEW Revolution. I'm going to jump off all the other social media platforms. Meet me back here on Guardian of Chaos, the YouTube channel. All right, fans, speaking of social media platforms, not only do I post here in the community section and the post section on all the live events from AEW, their pay-per-views, the WWE, their PLEs, SmackDown, Raw, Dynamite, Collision. We do it all here on the channel. Go over and follow me on Twitter, a.k.a. X, at Big Daddy GOC. And the GOC stands for the Guardian of Chaos. I post over there almost daily on all the current topics in today's professional wrestling business, the industry, if you will. And of course, I've earned that fucking right. My 50 years as a pro wrestling scout, researcher, fan, agent, producer, Mark. That's right, I said it. I'm a Mark, and we're all Marks at one point or another, whether you're talent in this business or just a fan. And of course, my over 3 decades as a pro wrestling manager in the ring who came out 2 and 3 times a night with my stable and took the fucking bumps. And been in the ring with over 30 Hall of Famers, veterans, legends, heroes, young lions, rookies. I've done it all from pillar to post, coast to coast, and border to border, here in the shadows of Titan Towers and the greater New England tri-state Northeast area. Over 5,000 videos on this channel. Navigate the playlist. You'll see most of my in-ring career on the playlist. And over 500 episodes of Chaos Corner. Over 800 Chaos clips here on the channel. You'll find classics. You'll find the podcast, and that's right, that is a podcast that I do with my wife, and Dinner for Two. So check it out. As I said, navigate this channel. Nobody works harder for you than I do. Over 5,000 videos in 4 or 5 years. Let that sink in. Let that marinate. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. So what we're going to do, as I previously said, let me calm down, let me simmer down here because it's early in the morning before this weekend's pay-per-view. So I wanted to be able to come on and give you a preview and prediction show. I don't like to do it when all the other podcasters, everybody's brother, mother, sister, uncle, cousin is doing live streaming and podcasts. It really is oversaturated in this business. So I like to do it on off times, only producing now here on the channel, original content, old school style. No music, no graphics, no screens. I respect people that put all that work into it, but I'm going to put a face to the product. This is a unique channel, no better than anyone else, just different and unique. And of course, with my insider's view, how long I've been in and around the business, including up now into 2025 with my home company at Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling on all social media platforms, and I don't have to tell you about the Paradise 4, but I will. Our head trainer, former Four Horsemen, Power and Glory, Pretty Wonderful, Young Stallions, WWE, Madison Square Garden, WrestleMania, WCW, and that would be Pretty Paul Roma. And then, of course, there's the owner of Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. In the WWE from 84 to 92, and at that point, he was the youngest grappler in the company. And that would be one Mario Mancini. Hold on, stand by, because you know there's always an issue with AI. And Alexa, play Tropical Thunderstorm sounds. I really do apologize for all this interruption, but when you do it here and it's live, basically, you want to say live to tape, but it's up within an hour after I record this. So it is live, same day coverage. Again, I give it to you raw dog because I'm old school. I don't have anything to go back and edit and clip and do all that stuff. So you get whatever happens here live is what goes out over the air. So back to Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. I already told you about our head trainer, Roma, our owner, Mario Mancini, and one of our other co-trainers, second-generation grappler, cousin to Roberto Soto from the World Wrestling Federation, was trained by his mother and father in his basement because they were luchadors. And that would be Mr. Paul Perez. And then there's the silent partner, owner of the Rib House and Ribs to Go, right here in the Constitution State, also worked under the guidance of the WWF, and that would be the big man. Former bounty hunter with Dr. D. David Schultz, as was yours truly, and that would be Big Steve Tracy, a.k.a. Big Dave Paradise. So that's my home company and how I'm still active. And again, that's why you're here. We're coming up on almost 3,000 total subscribers, well over 1 million total views. So for this channel, because I don't compare myself to anyone else, that's damn good, and I'm damn proud of it. I do this out of motivation, passion, love, nostalgia, which it certainly ain't what it used to be. That's why I'm here, and that's why I do it. And of course, for you, the fans that are here, this is a temporary distraction, a stress reliever for the insanity of what's been going on in this world for the last 5 to 10 years, perhaps even 15 years. And I don't want to get into all that, but you guys know what's going on. Wars, rumors of wars, Doge, a new president, second-time president, so he's not that new. Border invasion, crime, the economy, inflation, the previous 4 years, which were a total disaster. And I'm not judging anyone. I'm just telling it like it is. Because I give you the good, the bad, and the ugly on this channel. And that's just a fact. And we can guarantee there'll be another technical interruption here on the channel. So bear with me. Again, and I mean this. This is a shoot from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate each and every one of you that do stop in here. YouTube has crushed this channel. They put my foot on the throat of the GOC. The only way I was getting any sort of monetization on here was from my members, because it was only $2 or $3 a month, and I greatly appreciate my members, and from the commercials, and from the ads, to get some sort of generation to help support this program and support this show. But they've taken that away from me. And this is for you, YouTube. No offense, man, kayfabe, what I say, and you still owe me money, over $1,000. And that's just a fact. And I'm still under appeal with YouTube right now. But moving forward, all original content. Just me, the GOC, and reporting on the current product. And still doing story time in this date in pro wrestling history. And our live-to-tape watch-alongs. Again, I don't want to get too crazy here. But I don't make a fucking nickel from this. And I'm still doing it. Not only for me, but for you. And everyone that checks in over here, whether it be my brother Hooligan, the Mid-Mo Smark, Funny Rob Bay, Big O, Future Endeavor, Comic Book Bob, Hollywood, Here's Johnny. Even the Chi-Town Smart pops in once in a while. So again, I appreciate all my fans out there and people that I also follow, and we mutually support each other. You guys know that I am a moderator for some of the biggest podcasts in this space. I moderate 4 times a week for JD and Off the Script, the number one fucking podcast on YouTube. And his sidekicks, the Salamonster, and the aforementioned Jesse, the Chi-Town Smark. 3 incredible podcasters. Top level. JD's top of the food chain. And then there's the OGs of this community who've been doing it for over 20 years. Another one on the top tier and top level of this industry. And that would be the OG Don Tony. And of course, my brother, Kevin Castle. I hope you're feeling well, Kev. I hope you're recovering and healing up. The DT and KC show. One of the best on the platform. Also follow the Salamonster. Jason Solomon, who I said is co-partners with JD on Tuesday Night Titans over on Off the Script. And then Wednesday nights covering Dynamite, it's the Chi-Town Smark with JD. I also check out and moderate for on a much smaller level, but guys that know the business and they're personal friends of mine, and that is over at the Wrestling Council. So I want you guys to check them out as well. And then there's my brother, truly my brother and my friend, from the former PWZ podcast, now the Pro Wrestling Wire and the Rick Del Santo show, the Professor Rick Del Santo. Nobody works harder in this industry for what he does than Rick Del Santo over at the Pro Wrestling Wire. A true journalist and someone who follows the business, especially the independents, which are the backbone of this industry. The backbone of this fucking business, and that's just a fact. Look at the stars that have come out of Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling alone. Whether it be Richard Holiday. Breathe it in because you're breathing rarefied air, and give him his flowers. Former Dynasty member, along with Alexander Hammerstone and MJF. Holiday was the straw that stirred the drink. The very first student out of Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling, and certainly a star. Also, there's been Kylon King, Dustin Flash Waller from the Miracle Generation. There's beautiful Brad Baylor, a.k.a. Greg Baylor, who's in the WWE ID program with Swipe Right or Swipe Left. I don't know who it is. But he's currently in the WWE ID program. Roma-trained Mancini braid, beautiful Brad Baylor, who some people say looks like an evil Matt Damon. Is that what I heard? Something to that effect? Also out of Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling, there's from Rucker Park, Jermaine Swish Marbury, another unbelievable star and talent out of Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling, along with Jay Knight and Sean Onyx. Or is it Sean Onyx and Jay? My brothers, The Haven. Unbelievable. Sean Knight, Jay Onyx. One of the best tag teams out there. Also from Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. And then there's the up-and-comers, like Jeremy Lacroix, that cantankerous sumbitch. And of course, the Duke Boys. That's right. Keep that name in mind. The twin brothers, Caleb and Jacob. The Duke Boys out of Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. And there's many, many more that I could talk about at my home company. And the stars that they're pushing out. Whether it be Holiday, the Miracle Generation, The Haven, Baylor, who's already in the ID program, Jermaine Marbury. I already said several other stars. I could talk about the legends and Hall of Famers that still work at Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. I could name off the whole roster. And I know there's a few that I'm missing that are on the rise. So my apologies to my brothers down at PAPW. But I'm not here to talk about Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. I'm here to give you my preview and prediction show of AEW Revolution, which I believe is the 5th or 6th annual. The first Revolution was in 2020. So I believe this is the 5th annual Revolution. Again, this Sunday, March 9th. And the current ticket sales, I believe the arena is set up for a little over 10,000 fans. No, my bad. A little over 11,000 fans. And right now, the current distribution is almost 10,000. So they're probably going to get 11K for Revolution, which is damn good for this day and age in 2024, 2025 now of AEW, because their ratings, as well as their attendance, as well as the live gates, has plummeted like nobody else's business. Stand by, please. Alexa, play Tropical Beach Sounds. Let's mix it up here a little bit. And again, you know this is going to happen again. Austin, let them know what's going on here in the chat. Again, back to AEW Revolution. As we came out of Dynamite a few days ago, we have Collision tomorrow night. And who knows what's going to happen at Collision. Set up right now for Collision. Not that anybody watches it. I know that Daniel Garcia is defending the TNT title against Lee Moriarty, who's the Ring of Honor Pure Champion. I know it's Hologram against Dualistico. No me jodas, maricón, muévete, culo, pendejo. What I say, man? They nada. Lighten up, man. Kayfabe. Also, I believe Momo Watanabe, konnichiwa, bitches, arigato from the Chaos Sign, is taking on Serena Deeb. I don't know the rest of the lineup for Collision, so I don't know if that's going to affect anything that's going to happen on Sunday at Revolution, especially when it comes to the 0 hour or the pre-show at Revolution. So that's the news that I have for Collision, which again, I'm not sure how many people watch it. And just another note on that, because few folks, before I get onto the card and the predictions here, whether it be Christian Cage, Samoa Joe, Powerhouse Hobbs, Buddy Matthews, Buddy Murphy, I don't know why any of those stars are not slated for Revolution. But as of today, early Friday morning, heading into Friday afternoon, by the time this gets posted, so you guys can soak it in, none of those stars are slated for Revolution, and I believe that's a big mistake. Again, we don't know where Darby Allin is. He might be stuck on top of Mount Everest or got hit by another bus. I mean, I don't know, man. So that's something that really jumped onto me right away on the stars and some of the talent that will not be on Revolution. And again, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Christian Cage has held on to that contract for almost 200 days that he's going to cash in. It's kind of getting played out with Mama Wayne, Nick Plain, Kip Sabian, whoever you want to talk about. I like the patriarchy. Who's your daddy, baby, besides Big Daddy? It's Christian Cage. But it's almost 200 days, and we haven't really gone anywhere with that. You bring in people for storylines, and then you seem to forget about them, and then you bring them back, and you forget about them. And speaking of storylines, and the Murder Hawk Monster, and Mr. Pumped Up Juice himself, Cage, I don't think they're on the card for Revolution either. So there's a lot of talent not on this upcoming card. Thunder Rosa, and of course, the Megasis, legs like kegs and shoulders like boulders, who just has taken the women's division by storm. No pun intended, Tony. She's not on the card as well. The next big thing in the women's division. So there's a lot of things. And again, I don't know what's going to happen with 0 hour as I go on and on here. This is all they have mentioned for 0 hour thus far. The pre-show. In a 6-man tag team match, which they want to call a trios match. And this goes out to you, Excalibur, from Dynamite this past Wednesday. For the 8-man tag team match. The Insanity, which I'm not quite sure why they throw all these matches together. 6-man, 8-man, 10-man, all different things. But you, Excalibur, I don't know where the fuck it is that you're coming from. Neither do I care, but I am going to address it. Somebody clip this and send it to Excalibur. You want to call an 8-person tag team match this past week on Dynamite. Yeah, why don't you just say this? Well, we have an 8 human beings trios match coming up. 8-person, it's an 8-man. And if there's women, it's an 8-woman. And if it was mixed with men and women, it's an 8 mixed tag. But no, you want to feel to be whatever your agenda is. I don't know, nor do I care. But I think I know what you're all about, Sockface. No offense, man. Lighten up. You could call me something with my appearance as well. 8-person, get your head out of your ass. It was an 8-man tag team match. Whatever you want to call it. 8-man. Keep men out of women's sports. There's only 2 fucking genders. So I don't know where you're going with that. I apologize for the cussing. Again, focus, chaos. Focus, you're all over the place here talking about everything. The pre-show trios. The conglomeration of freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy, that boy, Mark Briscoe, and the guy Costco AJ, whoever the fuck that is. And I guess there's going to be 2 little kids in his corner. I don't know. Something about eating Twizzlers. I'm just telling you what I know. I am the old man brand, the over 50, over 60 demo god. I'm 20 years older than WrestleMania. Let that sink in. So the conglomeration, and I guess Costco is a part of that. I don't shop at Costco. They take on M&M, and that's not Joey Mercury and or Joey Matthews or Johnny Morrison or whoever Eminem was in the WWE. It's Mansoor, Mark Madden. I don't know. Eminem, Mansoor, and Madden teaming up with Johnny Nitro, Johnny TV, Johnny Monday Night, Johnny Valkyrie, John Hennigan, John Morrison. That's a lot more than 3 guys on that team. So it's supposed to be a trios, Cassidy, Briscoe, and Costco against the M&M guys. I prefer Peanut to Plain, and John Morrison. So I'm assuming it's just those 3. So we don't know what's going to be added to the pre-show. They have scheduled right now just 1 bout for 0 Hour, the pre-show, leaving into Revolution. Stand by. Have some patience, please. Alexa, play Tropical Thunderstorm sounds. Austin, explain to them what's happening here with the technical difficulties. Thank you, guys. This is what happens, man. So we'll see what, if anything, changes for Collision. We know that Tony Khan, TK, if you will, is good for putting on pre-shows. You think there's one a day or 2 before the big pay-per-view, and they end up having 3 or 4 bouts. Let's see what happens. Can we get Powerhouse Hobbs onto this show somehow? Can we? Can we get Megan Bain on the show? So that's the pre-show. To open up things, and again, this is no particular order. Oh, and of course, I'm predicting Cassidy, Briscoe, and the Costco guy. There's no way they're going to lose to the Morrison, Mansoor, Madden, Eminem team. So that's my prediction. I'll go with Freshly Squeezed. That's TK's mascot, his boy toy. They're not losing. So that's who I'm going to predict for the 0 Hour pre-show. We have the steel cage match between Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher. From the Callis family, if you will. This bout, since they have wrestled each other before a handful of times, we know what these 2 men bring to the business. Ospreay, definitely the top 3, top 5 grapplers in 2025 on the face of the planet, the earth, whatever you want to call it, the universe. Ospreay is incredible. He performs at every bout. And I'm not saying that the style of wrestling is traditional or grappling technique, but the guy is an entertainer, a wrestler. He breaks his ass. His moves are unbelievable. I'm a fan of Ospreay. And again, I believe he's one of the best grapplers in the world. And to me, the hottest thing coming up in AEW, besides maybe a Megan Bayne, and I'm partial because she's from where I live and where I come from. And when I worked for the Board of Education as security after retiring from 25 years behind the walls and bounty hunting, I went and worked for the Board of Ed, and I worked security to keep our kids in the community safe. Megan Bayne was a freshman at that high school. She was on the boys' wrestling team. She was almost that size in high school. A very nice young lady. Very smart, very professional. She had that cool, laid-back demeanor, even as a high school kid, as a teenager. So I go back like 8 tracks with Megan Bayne for as long as she's been around. So I'm a huge supporter of hers. Plus, my granddaughter thinks she's the greatest women's wrestler ever. My granddaughter likes Bianca Belair, and she likes Thunder Rosa. But she's a big Megan Bayne fan. So I'm just going to throw that out there. Of people. Let me focus, chaos, focus. We're 25 minutes in here. You're still on Ospreay and Fletcher. Again, the next biggest thing, I believe, is Kyle Fletcher and how this guy performs. Banger after banger after banger after banger. We don't even know her. And that's what the kids say. Quality matches. And Fletcher, in the future, in my opinion, is some sort of champion and definitely has potential to be a world champion. Let's take a quick look at Fletcher and Ospreay from the notes that I did gather. I did have a couple of notes. I know when I was on here talking about Elimination Chamber and WWE, which I just put up a few days ago, my review of it. Go back and check it out on the channel. Like I said, drop an elbow on that like button. It's free. Share it out. I appreciate it. Let's go back and check out that show that I did for Elimination Chamber and my thoughts on the biggest heel turn and what went on that night. I lost my train of thought like that. But you know my mind is like a lazy Susan. It'll come back around. I have amnesia and deja vu at the same time. I think I've forgotten this before. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Ospreay and Fletcher have been in the ring together. I'm not talking about tag teams or battle royals or scrambles or anything else like that. 6-man trios, whatever you want to call it. I'm talking straight up. I do know that Ospreay and Fletcher have been in the ring. As I said, I repeat myself here. You guys know I repeat. That's what I do. Ospreay defeated Fletcher at last year's World's End. In turn, Fletcher defeated Ospreay at last year's Full Gear. And we know that Ospreay defeated Fletcher on AEW Dynamite. I believe it was in 2024 on the May 6th show, because I did do some research to be more accurate. And if anyone wants to correct me in the chat, that's fine. I'm okay with that. Reach out to me. Inbox me on Twitter. I already told you that over on X. You guys can email me anytime. We got Fan Mail Friday coming up. Email me. I have 2 emails. Let me know what you think if you're still here after 30 minutes and watching. That's how I know who gets in touch with me, is when I put out this information. So we have a lot to go through. Email me at Chaos Big Daddy, the number 2. That's right, Chaos, CHAOS, Big Daddy, the number 2, at yahoo.com. My other email, Chaos Big Daddy 11 at Gmail. That's right, Chaos Big Daddy 11, the number 11, at Gmail. So reach out to me. I'll read your letters live here on the show. Now, I think there might be a couple of matches that I'm missing, because I believe Fletcher has defeated Ospreay twice. I know he did at Full Gear last year. Ospreay obviously has, again, at World's End and then on Dynamite. I think they've grappled 5 or 6 times. So somebody go to CageNet or Let me know what you have for information. But we know they've lived together. They've traveled together. It's been a pretty good storyline in AEW, one of their better ones. For as frantic as the storylines are over on AEW. Again, I'm here to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly. So that is their history. Recent history, at least anyway. So my prediction for the steel cage match, Ospreay has to win. Fletcher has already defeated Ospreay. Ospreay's your number one guy. Bring it in the cash. He stands alone, although lately teaming up with Kenny Omega. They have their history from Japan, and we know that. And the recent history here in AEW. Someday down the line, those two, not only will they tag team, which they have already, they will be face-to-face again. I'm looking forward to that. In my opinion, this should be an unbelievable match. We know it's going to be bloody. I hope there's no outside interference, hence the steel cage. This is what you do to finalize or finish off a feud, at least how that's been throughout history. You don't start off with the second or third match with a cage match or a Texas death match or a barbed wire match, whatever it is. You do it like this after months and months, sometimes a year or 2 years. After 4, 5, 6 matches, then you come to something like this. So I'm going to take Ospreay in the cage over Fletcher. For the Continental Championship, bitch, it's Okada, the reigning defending Continental Champion, against Brody King. Formerly of, what are they, the Hound Dogs now? You ain't nothing but a hound dog, crying all the time. You ain't nothing but a hound dog. No? Too early? Too soon? Too much? And then, of course, he was with the House of Black. And speaking of Black, we know Alistair, or whatever his name is now Malachi, persona non grata, I believe, going over the WWE. The guy's got the look. He's got the skills. He never did much for me personally. They misused the House of Black. Buddy Matthews should be your world light heavyweight champion. But no one wants to listen to Chaos when I said you should break this up and have some weight classes. It just makes sense. And get rid of or merge somebody's title, the Intercontinental, the Intergender, the International, whatever it is, the titles. There's way too many titles. WWE's got 2 world heavyweight champions, unified champion. And for as much as I respect him, he's a monster, a fucking beast, a big guy, and one heck of a worker. King is no Brody. Think about it. Hello? McFly? Is anybody home? King is no Brody. But for the Continental Championship, Okada against Brody King. Now, if I have the pen, sometimes a pencil because you have to erase. And they probably should have done this in the Owen Hart tournament when they had the chance, when he was hot. And now that they've broken up as the 6th man from the House of Black, make Brody King your new Intercontinental Champion and have him take it off Okada. And let's get Okada off onto something else. Maybe going for the World Heavyweight title. How about that? Okada's still a legend. Not what he used to be, but I'm a fan of Okada. Give it to the guy that could be hot and you could make into the next star in your company. Let Brody King take the Intercontinental Championship off Okada. That's what I would do. Let me know what you think. But I believe Okada's going to retain. Now again, you hear what I'm saying. Just like I've been saying for months, give the women their own show over on WWE. And I know Hooligrim addressed it on Twitter because he also said it and agreed with it. Give the women their own show. Who cares about the ratings? No one seems to give a damn about them anyway. Tell that to the advertisers and sponsors. But as much as you feature them, and they got to have the same matches, the same pay-per-views, they have to have the same amount of titles, try it. Give the women their own show, say on a Thursday night. I don't want to get on to WWE and using TNA stars and how big NXT has become and Netflix, the whole heel turn. I did a video I just dropped on it. I'm going to do more moving forward. It's WrestleMania season, but I want to give Revolution their due because I do watch Revolution weekly. And I was a big fan in 2019, 2020, 2021. And you guys know I watched because of MJF and a couple other guys as well, too. So I don't want to sit here and distract from that. So back to the Continental Championship. I believe Okada goes over on Brody King and retains the title. Just my opinion. But I wouldn't be surprised if you're listening, TK, or anyone that has any influence on him. And I'm not giving myself kudos that anybody from that company is watching or any other company. I'm just telling it like I see because it gets back to me. I believe and I'm going to predict Okada. Brody King would be good, though. Then we have, and again, no particular order, what I consider probably the biggest storyline going on right now, and that would be Maxwell Jacob Friedman. Our buddy, your scumbag Max, the former AEW World Heavyweight Champion, the face of AEW at one time that was going to skyrocket that company if the torch was passed, but they dropped the ball. And now we're trying to make a comeback with it, and I hope it works. And I'm interested in seeing this. Max against Hangman Page. Now we know Page, the former boozer, not Dick the Boozer, Umbriaga and the whole storyline there, and his unbelievable feud with Swerve Strickland and what they went through. This is the current storyline. I like it. It's the hottest story going in AEW. Hangman Page, a former world heavyweight champion himself in AEW. He can't take advice from anyone, though, and went into his own, into business for his own with Punk, and that started that whole spiral there. It's a long story, but I know you guys know it. So Page and MJF. This should be one heck of a match. Page has stepped up his game behind the mic. In the ring, he's damn solid. I like his intensity. Max is a superstar, and in my opinion, top 10 grappler in the world today. At one time, if you combined everything, he would have been in the top 3, top 5. When you combine everything, charisma, aura, presentation, in-ring ability, you guys get what I'm talking about. Promos, vignettes, physicality, being in shape, looking like a fucking pro wrestler. MJF and Hangman. Again, we know that TK's a matchmaker, and the pay-per-views, 9 out of 10 of them are hot. They're solid. They're bangers. Again, as the kids say, their words. So you could see there's already, just talking the first couple, there's some excellent matchups. MJF and Hangman. No fucking way do you have Max lose this. There's no way. You're trying to gain momentum for this kid. Use him while he's here. Because when his contract comes up, he won't be unless they offer him the moon, the sun, the planet, the earth, if it's still here. Max is going to end up over in the mothership. And you guys know that. So Max cannot lose this match. It's going to be solid. I'm predicting and I'm taking, without question, MJF. And if Page goes over, I think it'd be a big mistake. Because Max needs it right now more than Hangman. I'm looking forward to this one. Then you have, for the AEW Tag Team titles, now that within 1 week or 2 weeks, you have a number 1 contenders match against this one, that one. But the Hurt Syndicate, who look like legends, Shelton Benjamin, Bobby Lashley, along with MVP. Thank the good Lord above, they've come over to AEW again as former WWE legends, guys over 50, and we can go on with the list of Christian Cage and Adam Copeland and Lashley, Benjamin. You guys understand. And there's many others that are former WWE guys that are now here. But they have brought the heat. They hurt people. And the perfect face for your tag team championships right now. Against, Trojan Magnum, Truth Magnum. Floyd Mayweather, Turbo Floyd, the Outrunners. High energy. They can work in the ring. They got something going for them where the fans are buying it. But tell me, what about the 80s and nostalgia and history is a representation of the Outrunners? No tag team ever acted like that back in the golden era of the 80s. No, nobody did. That's not an 80s gimmick. What are they? They don't look 80s. They don't act 80s. They act like a bunch of goofballs, and no disrespect, because they can work. Because they've been on my Twitter account before, my ex account, and have conversed with me. So I got respect for anyone, from A-level independents to the major leagues, and we know there's levels, A, AA, AAA, the major leagues. I already talked about the independents and how they're territorial right now. And especially with Evolve back and LFG coming back, which is like Tough Enough, and NXT and what it's doing. I mean, there's no better time to be an independent or a star in this business right now. Or a talent. It's a lot of places to go. TNA's on the rise. NWA's still around. Ring of Honor. New Japan. The NWA, I already said that. MLW. There's a lot of places to go. And then there's GCW. There's Revolve. There's a lot of things going on if you want to travel right now. I watch the stars and the talent at Paradise Alley, my home company. They're booked 2-3 times a week all over the fucking country, especially here in the hotbed, the legendary Northeast area. But they're everywhere. Working with other companies as well, like the AIWF. That's another story for another time. Research it. Don't go Google it.
Bring along
use DuckDuckGo. More privacy. Speaking of privacy, stand by.
Morning coffee run.
Alexa, play Tropical Beach Sounds. This is getting fucking old.
There's a station based on
Austin, you know I still have heat with this mechanical AI bitch, right? No disrespect, man. It's a female voice. And I know I'm going on here. We're going to go about an hour. Then I'll break it up into clips and I'll put it over on X, a.k.a. Twitter. So I'm going with MJF. I already said that. How do the Outrunners deserve a title shot? Because you had a number one, what you thought were your top tag teams. They didn't earn it. They won the one match. And again, there's nothing 80s about the Outrunners as we keep getting interrupted here. You had a chance earlier to maybe have them take a run, which I think would have been very quick. But if you want to capitalize on certain things and go with what the fans want and get the storyline and build up that presentation, you take advantage of certain things and you listen to the fans. You do. You don't always listen to the talent. You let them do their own thing and there's no control over the booking or the storylines. I'm just throwing it out there. I know I'm all over the place today. But that's what I do. I try to pump out the information and I want the feedback from you guys. No way the Hurt Syndicate loses. And if they do, it's a travesty of justice. Those are perhaps the biggest stars in your country and your company. One of your biggest stars, legends, Hall of Famers that look the part. You're not breaking them up yet to put them in any singles competition for titles. Leave that for down the line. Keep the belts on the Hurt Syndicate. That's pretty simple. That's a no-brainer. Not the Outrunners. It's not their time. And speaking of tag teams, where the fuck are Ross and Marshall Von Erich? Where are the Von Erichs? What are we doing here? They've been in the business 13, 14 years. You've already had them in the company. Are they buried over on Ring of Honor, which I don't watch? But I know it's solid work with some solid talent. Where are the Von Erichs? So the Outrunners, there's no way they're winning, in my opinion. And again, I could eat crow, and don't ever underestimate the crow. Perhaps the smartest bird on the planet. Don't underestimate the crow. Heed the warning. I like crows. Hurt Syndicate, I'm taking Lashley and Benjamin. That's simple. Then we have for the TBS Women's title, Sasha Monet, Vernado Banks, whatever her name is, Mercedes. Again, a good-looking lady. Can work when she wants to. Promos are cringe. Aura, the way she is in general, the way she comes off, if you could read through it. get through the bottom line. I'm not crazy about her attitude as a person. I heard things. I don't know her personally. Again, probably a great woman, but this is getting old too, with the CEO and the dances and all the different title belts. You have to move on from this and make her a little more serious. You're certainly not going to make her a face at this point. She's a natural heel, almost like go-away heat at sometimes. No denying her in-ring ability. But Mercedes Moné is no Sasha Banks. She wouldn't even be just blend right in at this point over in the WWE with all the talent over there in the women's roster. When she was there, she was one of the best. You wonder if she ever went back. Of course, the fans would accept her if she went back as Sasha. But she wouldn't be number 1, 2, 3, would she? Answer it honestly. They botched the whole thing with Camille. That's another story for another time. So Monet is defending the TBS title and they're running out of competition. I don't know what you're going to do. Again, Momo Watanabe, who's qualified for strong style and maybe over in Asia, Japan, the land of the rising sun, the Orient, if you will. And if you get offended, I don't give a fuck. That's what it's called. That's what the country's called. But Momo qualified, and I know that she's been sitting in the crowd, and I think she's working Saturday night, as I said, this Saturday on Collision against Serena Deeb before Revolution. Is she really a challenger? Does she have any chance to win this belt? No. There's no way. You got to move on with Mercedes from this mid-card belt, second-tier belt. If she's getting all that money and supposed to be the face of your division, and she's not, but she could be. Monet and Watanabe, no way for Watanabe. And Monet keeps the title. The TBS title, which they should eliminate anyway. You got to have a title named after the TV station? Come on. Come on. The women's division could be a lot more. Speaking of that, let's just go right on to the next women's matchup. And it's for the AEW women's title. Timeless Toni Storm. And they've been manic with her all over the place. She came in as a badass, a kick-ass rocker chick. And just in general, I've seen her live in person. I've seen her grapple. I'm a student of the game. You guys know that. To me, one of the best women's grapplers in the world. She's on that level. Been very manic, and this storyline has to end. And it's been good. I will say, the whole storyline, and tits out, watch for the shoe, and the whole actress black and white thing, and what she was before and how she involved. I'll get a little eclectic, but entertaining. There was nothing absurd about the storyline. Then to have her come back with amnesia and think she's another character, that was terrible. I'm glad they switched off from it. She's back now to this. She looks like she bulked up a little bit, Toni Storm. But this feud has to end. Mariah May, the former champion, who I really, she's easy on the eyes, but I'm unlike all you virgins and geeks and neckbeards and mouth breathers and goons that have the brain of a dehydrated BB. No offense, man, what I say. You guys are watching this because they're wearing garters and thongs and they got their boobs hanging out. What the fuck are we doing here? I'm watching it for the sport, for the entertainment, for the athleticism, the physicality.
She's one half of a football.
Stand by, everyone. Stand by. Alexa, play Tropical Thunder. Alexa, play Tropical Thunderstorms, guys. Who was that? Was that Alex? There's Alexa, and then that was a man? Is there Alexa and Alex that I don't know about? Again, I apologize for the disruptions, but when you come here, you know this is going to happen. That's part of the shtick. That's part of the show. The entertainment. It's intertwined with the GOC. In reality, it's in me. So again, we were talking about Storm and Mariah May, who, listen, these girls are in great shape. They're athletes, but including in the WWE and these other companies, could we have some, like I say to my granddaughter who asks me whether we're watching Women of Wrestling, WWE or AEW, she says, Pop, is that appropriate gear? Pop, is that appropriate? Pop, Do they look okay? And this is coming from a 6.5-year-old. My granddaughter, who's a huge wrestling fan. She's been to a lot of 5 or 6 events with yours truly, so she's really taken to the sport. She's in gymnastics, cheerleading, going to play soccer herself. But again, that's why you guys come here, because of the personalness with me. If you go over to my shorts, you can see my entire family, from my wife to my daughter, my granddaughter, my brothers, and my whole family, friends. And you guys will find it very entertaining. Family fun, for as much as I'm crazy over here on Chaos Corner. Check out the shorts. This is who I am. Again, back to the wardrobe and appearance. That's what most of you goons are watching for. Act like you've touched a pair before if you had a girlfriend. And I'm just saying, and I know that's, maybe the moniker or what you think of other people, and you can smell in the crowds. And so you guys know what I'm talking about. But I'm just calling it like I see it. And it doesn't apply to you that are watching. And if it does, maybe you ought to look in the mirror like I do. I'm honest with myself, self-deprecating, and I could listen to criticism, and you guys and gals should too. And so should the fucking business. We should be able to speak our minds here. It's not a one-way street and jam it down other people's throat of what you believe and what you want. It doesn't work that way here. I don't care about your race, your religion, your color, your creed. I don't care about any of that. I care about how you treat me. In order to get respect, you have to start with respecting yourself. Once you do that, you open other people's minds to respecting you. And I'm off on a tangent here, because there's 3 types of people. Those who don't know what happened, those who wonder what happened, and people like the Guardian of Chaos that make things happen. I didn't get here because I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about or what I'm doing. So I didn't make the major leagues. That doesn't mean anything. We're talking about reality and life outside of this business. What have you accomplished? What have you done? I served the community. I protected the people that you're afraid of, that you wouldn't want to be around, that'll never see the light of day in our streets ever again. And I walked amongst them with respect, protected you, and then went on to watch your young children, meaning teenagers that are going into adults, mentoring, protecting. Do you get it yet? And what I am? That's just reality. Outside and away from the business. So before you start thinking this is all chicanery, and like David Schultz says, don't call me fake. I know I'm a little cantankerous, a little vociferous. I got the espresso. This is really a long preview and prediction show. But again, we're not here just for that. So again, Toni Storm should defend the title. There's no way I think they'll give it back to Mariah May. They have to move on from this. It's been decent long-term or mid-term booking. I could say that. The May and Storm has been entertaining, and the shock of when she busted her open with the shoe, Mariah May and Storm, and then Toni disappeared for a while and went and made the movie along with Camille and others, Queen of the Ring, based on the true life story of Mildred Burke. I'm going to check it out. You guys go and check it out. Of course, they left out some details. It was just like the Iron Claw and people that, defecated all over that. Because if I say certain words, YouTube will be all over me again. This is for you, YouTube, a reminder. Anyway, she was off filming that with Camille. Queen of the Ring, Life and Times of Mildred Burke. Go out and watch it. It's going to be unbelievable from what I've read. And the review I heard from Jim Cornette, who makes a cameo in it as well. So I'm looking forward to that. So let's move on from this storyline. Let's move on from this right now. Preview and predictions of AEW Revolution. This Sunday, Toni Storm definitely retains the title. Where does she move on from here? A lot of people lost over there in that division, whether it's Athena, Deonna Purrazzo, certain girls who are getting to push, Penelope Ford, Megan Baines on the scene. You still have Thunder Rosa, who hasn't made a full comeback from her career, and they've totally dropped the ball on that. I don't know why. I don't care why. I know she was a good worker and had a great gimmick, and now I don't know what she seems to be involved with. and all the young girls that they were pushing at one time, whether it was Anna Jay or Velvet Cake, Red Velvet, whatever her name is, Julia Hart. So I know they were pushing the younger girls at one time. You still have Statlander and the former Eye Candy, who they call Willow now. Britt Baker, obviously, persona non grata. Where do you go with the women's division in AEW now? Where do you go? That's all I'm saying. It's really a cluster over there. What are you going to do with Monet? Is there still going to be a big Japanese influence? They really got to get it together in the women's division. You have the potential. You have the young talent. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe you need someone like a Natty or a veteran or sign one of the ladies from WWE who has been released. Get some influence in that locker room because Monet Banks ain't carrying it. So that's my prediction. Tony Storm, timeless Tony Storm. Then there's a match I'm really looking forward to, perhaps could steal the show. It's for the International Championship. Takeshita against your boy, the EVP, Kenny Omega. Kenny's back. We're glad he's healthy. It's good to have him back. But you know what? He's not getting any younger either, and has been injured. Kenny's supposed to be part of the elite in this company, one of your biggest stars internationally, perhaps the biggest star in all of pro wrestling. Omega and Takeshita, who I think is one of the fastest, hottest rising guys in this business. A guy like Fletcher, who you should build your company around. A future superstar. A guy like Hobbs. There's guys that you can bring here in AEW. And who the fuck knows what you did with Wardlow, where he is. Who knows? That's been the biggest miss that you could swing and miss at. Next to now MJF and the Brochacho storyline. And the devil and all that. Garbage. So this is going to be an unbelievable bout. Now, does Omega need the belt? No. Could he afford a loss and not have him hurt his reputation? Yeah, the guy's already a legend. I would love to see Takeshita retain the belt without outside clusterfuck, even if there's interference from Don Callis or one of the other guys that they're all teamed up with. Again, you've gone nowhere with Cage and Archer. Two big wasted monsters. Total waste, both guys, in this company from day one. And I don't, that's the truth. I'm going to tell it like it is. What a waste. And they have been for a while. I don't have any faith or belief in Cage and Archer. Singles, tag team, trios, or otherwise, just to bring out in case there's interference. Takeshita should retain. Give him that win over the legend. He's a star, Takeshita. Omega's the legend. I think Takeshita should retain the title. That's what I want to happen. That's, I guess, going to be my prediction. But if Kenny won, would anybody be surprised? He writes his own stories. He's part of the board like the final boss. For reference. So it wouldn't shock me if Omega won, but I'm taking Takeshita. Then there's, I guess, the main event, which isn't really, if you look at this, Ospreay and Fletcher, MJF and Hangman, Takeshita and Omega, a Ricochet and Strickland, all going to be unbelievable. This is a stacked card. It's Dick the Boozer, Dean Ambrose, John Moxley defending the title for one of a few times by himself. Pac is nowhere to be seen. Cesaro Claudio is injured now. Useless Yuta was just taken out. So Marina Miller High Life. It's Schaefer. Schaefer is the one beer to have when you're having more than one. Schaefer is the one beer to have when you want to have some fun. No? You guys remember Schaefer? Maybe you probably don't. But Marina Schaefer is no longer around either. She was taken out. So Moxley is by himself. Thank God the FedEx or UPS guy isn't there because he he might take the title from Moxley, the mixed martial arts guy there, the FedEx guy that tapped out Moxley a year or two ago. Well, those are facts. And he walks around snorting and twitching and shaking his head and walking like this. Listen, the guy carried the company for a while. He's got name value. I'm not saying the guy's a Hall of Famer. He's a solid worker. Yeah, he was part of the Shield, the number 3 part of the Shield with Reigns and Rollins over in the WWE. And he came into AEW and was one of the guys, along with Jericho at the time. And before Max emerged and Wardlow. But he ain't it now in this last 6 months. The last year, BCC, the Death Riders, whatever you want to call the group. But now he's supposedly on his own, and the whole takeover thing has been garbage for AEW. You didn't write it out or plan it out the right way. And when you go by the seat of your ass like TK does, the rumors have it, and that's why these shows aren't written out with storylines before the show. It looks like it's all thrown together and it's different segments of a show instead of having that continuity. The segue. Stand by. We're an hour in. Alexa, play Tropical Thunderstorm sounds.
Here's a station
Again,
quiet tropical
Austin, explain. Jen, explain what's going on with the interruptions here. We're OGs, man. This is how it happens here. We have interruptions. We're over an hour in here on the preview and prediction show of AEW Revolution, along with a menagerie of news and notes. So we're talking about Mox and his mannerisms and where the storyline has gone. He defends the title against Adam, Edge, Copeland, the rated R superstar. All of them wrapped up into one, just like I said with John Hennigan, John Morrison, Johnny, whatever. It's like everybody has it's going to be more than one person there, or just going to be one grappler. So Cope goes up against Mox. It's kind of like Cher and Madonna or Sting. Everybody's got to have one name. Sting the singer. It kind of really is ridiculous. So with allegedly no outside interference, a guy coming back from another major injury more than once in his career in Copeland. It's been a short-term story. Came in out of nowhere. He's decent on the mic. He's good in the ring. He's a Hall of Famer. Much respect for Copeland. This matchup is of 2 former WWE stars, one over 50 years old. You got to get the title off Moxley. Now's the time to do it. Now, am I happy about Copeland being the guy to take the title? No, but you signed him for like $15 million or whatever it was for 3. I don't know the exact terms. But that's what you signed him for. That's what you brought him in for. His run has been nothing. So far, they haven't gotten around to the whole Christian thing with their history there. They did it briefly, but it hasn't worked with Copeland either. And then the injury at 50 years old, jumping off the top of a cage. The fuck were you thinking to begin with? Bueller? Anyone? What were you thinking? And then you were jumping off the stairs on the stage or a platform a couple weeks back. Sometimes you can't do what you used to do. I've had to face it myself. So Mox and Copeland, get it off Moxley. Break up the Death Riders BCC. It was okay when Danielson was in it and when it first started, but it didn't go anywhere. And then the change. Time to end it. Just like you did with Matthew and Nicholas and the EVPs and the Young Bucks. I'm sure they'll be back soon. They were over in Japan. They lost their titles over there, so they'll be back soon. Maybe they'll face the Hurt Syndicate, but let me focus here. Otherwise, we'll be an hour and a half. So the world title, again, get it off Moxley. And I guess, like I said, if it's going to be Copeland, it might as well be. Marcus Welby? He might as well be. You guys are too young for Marcus Welby. MD. So I guess now would be the time to do it. Give it to Copeland. Let him run with it. See where he'll go. But this has to end. It's not working. It's not bringing in the numbers. It's not bringing in the live gates. It's not bringing in anything. Especially when you don't have house shows for the most part. You're missing the boat. You guys aren't getting enough reps and work. That's just my own story. That's just my own view of it. I hear you don't even have production meetings. And I'm going by the expert insider broadcast journalists who most of them have never stepped in a fucking ring or took a bump. So you really don't know. Not that you can't say anything because we all have our rights. Allegedly. Let's see where it's going. I think the country's trending the right way. It's going to get harder before it gets easier. We're all going to suffer some pain. You guys know that, right? Stay mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually fit. If he's for us, no one could be against us. Use your own discernment. Surround yourself with like-minded people. And repent. None of us are perfect. I struggle with it every day to be the best that I am. And I fall short just about every day. And that's serious. That's a shoot. That's what you get here on this channel. Nobody else in this community or this space does what I do and how I present this to make it relatable. So you're better off when you walk out of here than when you fucking walked in, and you can hold a conversation and add something and have learned something. That's my hope. Now's the time. Give it to Cope. He's no dope. What's going on here today? So there you go. That's what I believe. And I'm going to predict that Copeland's going to take it. Now, would I be surprised if Moxley retains it? And I know that, Chaos, that's not a big daddy. It's not really a prediction then. It is. I'm telling you what I think. And I've earned that right. You guys know that. We already talked about it. Give it to Copeland. I wouldn't be surprised if Moxley retained. But now is the time, especially when you wrote in the storyline of everybody else is out, no outside interference, because that's all you've ever gotten. Run-ins, break-aparts, run-ins, 25-minute bouts with guys who know never have a chance to win, but you're still going to give them 25 minutes. You guys know what's going on in AEW. The time is now. WWE is on a roll, on fire. For the last 20 years, now is the time in the WWE, and that's where everybody's going. And other companies are creeping up on you like TNA. So watch out. Step up your fucking game. If you're not going to bring in anybody else that was in the business to help you with storylines, actual writers that know the business, and you want to continue to do all this, then you better step up the game, AEW. That's just a fact. So there you have the prediction and preview for AEW Evolution. I went longer than I wanted to, but hey, it's ad lib. It's impromptu. I'm taking Ospreay over Fletcher in the cage. I'm taking Okada to retain the title, although Brody King should get it right now. Now's the right time to move on from Okada. I'm definitely taking MJF over Hangman. You have to start pushing Max back to the top of this company. He's a needle mover. He's your scumbag. Obviously, I'm taking the Hurt Syndicate to retain against the Outrunners. And if it goes any other way, I don't know what the fuck you're doing. Monet will not lose to Watanabe. That's a fact. Ricochet and Strickland, they've been okay. I haven't really talked about it. The whole scissor, I thought we were done with scissor me daddy ass. Strickland has really fallen, in my opinion. He really has. He's one of your stars. He's a future star that can carry this company. He's a former champion. And what's going on between Ricochet and Strickland is okay. Yeah, he's annoying. He turned into be that way. Maybe that's how he really is. Who cares? But the fans are buying it. They're both unbelievable high flyers and athletes. I mean, this is a #1 contenders bout. So the winner here is going to go on to either face Mox or Copeland. At least that's what they're selling us as a #1 contenders match. Definitely shouldn't be Ricochet. hasn't earned it, hasn't been here long enough, an unbelievable athlete. Again, this is why you have weight divisions, because I don't know if he's a $180. Strickland is the face. Strickland looks the part. He's the one that sells for the fans.
Hey there. I see you trying to distract yourself with some music.
Do you see what they're doing? She's just talking to me. Don't go anywhere.
That awkward text.
Alexa, play tropical beach sounds. I think she was talking
Elevate
to
your
me.
listening experience.
Am I right? So again, back to the number one contenders match. Ricochet and Strickland. Ricochet hasn't earned it. He hasn't. Strickland, you've dropped the ball when he was the champion. I know you had it with Hangman Page and that. What the fuck are we doing? Alexa, play tropical thunderstorm sounds.
Here's a station based on quiet tropical thunderstorms.
Over talking me, stepping on me, and still doing it. And then I guess you could say, well, when you don't put the product into the product, that's why you're not making. I'm not here to make money. You guys get it. We're well over an hour in here, an hour and 11 minutes, 111. So bear with me. I hope you stayed here or watched it on a replay or catch it in segments. I appreciate it, because I wasn't really talking about the number one contenders match. I let that slip. You've dropped the ball on Strickland. He had the whole thing going with Page. We moved past that, thank God. They wrestled 4 or 5 times. Strickland has to beat Ricochet. I know they've definitely worked together before. As a matter of fact, if I look back to the 1 or 2 things that I did write down, just last month, and I should remember this, Ricochet defeated Strickland. There's no way Ricochet could win this match. Don't do it. Give it to Strickland. Let Strickland go on and face either Moxley, and then you have Strickland take the title from Moxley and end the Death Riders BCC story. Or if you're going to get it off Moxley and give it to Cope because you owe it to him, he's a legend, you want to give him something before he goes out, when he does, when his contract expires. I mean, there's time. We still got Christian Cage to look forward to at some point. Let Strickland go against Copeland. And then there's the tough decision. Do you give it to Strickland right away? Or to take it as Cope at his stage of his career, making him be transitional? Because he doesn't really need it. Although, like you did for Sting and Danielson, TK, I get it if you did. Let Strickland, and I'm taking Strickland in the number one contenders match to go over Ricochet. And it should be, as the kids say for the 3rd time here on the show, a banger. Give it to Swerve. Let him go on to either take it from Mox if he beats Cope, or to face Cope, and you figure it out from there. So I'm going to take Swerve Strickland. I already talked about Toni Storm is not losing to Mariah May. It's time to move on. Women's division has to step it up. I'm repeating. Takeshita should get the victory and retain. Push him to that next level. Omega can afford it. And then, of course, what we just talked about, Moxley and Copeland for the world title. There you have it, fans. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 matches 48 hours before Revolution. I expect there to be at least a dozen. I know something will be added on last minute. They'll probably announce it on Collision. It should be a solid show. Matchups on paper, it looks good. So there we have it. And again, I apologize for going way longer. This is what this channel's all about. This is what this show's all about. So, again, let's hope I didn't miss anything, because I almost got out of here without talking about Ricochet and Strickland. That would have been a clusterfuck, right? And would have anybody corrected me? I know Austin or the Tribal Queen would have corrected me. These chains are getting heavy. These chains are getting heavy here. We're heading into the weekend. I want everyone to stay safe, stay in faith, have a good weekend. We'll get back together here, and I will do a review of Revolution sometime on Monday or Tuesday. And then it's still WrestleMania season. We know what's going on right across the street. The WWE. Thanks for being here, guys and gals. The espresso is unbelievable. What are you guys drinking right now? Tea? Water? Maybe a diet beverage? You're certainly not drinking an adult beverage, although I guess it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Am I right? What are you having? I did have a plain bagel with plain cream cheese this morning. Here with the espresso. I got to hydrate. I'm not sure what I'm having for lunch. I'm going to cook something for dinner. I'm not sure what I'm going to cook up. Maybe I'll take the wife out. We usually go out for dinner on Friday nights. Just to give you a little personal. I'm not done yet. Don't go anywhere. A lot of things going on in the business. No better time, especially for content creators. That's why all those guys I mentioned are doing so great. It's an oversaturated business, but this is the world that we're in right now. I'm still living in the 70s and 80s and even into the middle 90s. That's my era. When it was more real, people were less in the know, kayfabe was alive. The guys and gals in the business, they lived it. They put in the work. They traveled. There was no social media. It's so different now. It really is different. And again, you guys know that I started my journey all the way back to the Tonga Kid and the Samoans in 1983. Getting to know them long before I was a fan and saw my first matches in 72 or 73, the early 70s. Started going to my live events in the middle 70s. Dreaming that dream like a lot of us have. Then the connection in 83 with the family, because a lot of them are from this area and have stayed in this area. This is the home of the WWE. In 1984, going to the Quest, briefly hanging around. Couldn't make it as a grappler with injuries and just the training. I'm honest. Mancini could tell you that. That's right, my brother Mario. Then taking the hiatus from there, but still staying close and researching and historian and watching and being a part of it. Not officially in the business yet. Went behind the walls, had a family, never lost sight. Said, I got to change it up. I got to try again. You can't make it as a full-time worker, but you're a hell of a talker and you have the look and the aura and the toughness. Injuries or not, because I proved it. Made my debut, again, traveling in the late 80s with a couple of close friends and being able to travel and even learn more like I did in the early 80s. Learn more when down in WCW with connections down there. Again, the one steady in my career has always been the Samoans, the Samoan dynasty. Rikishi, Yokozuna, Umaga, Lloyd, Big Sam, Little Sam, The Rock himself. So Alpha, I have that connection with them since 1983, and we're in 2025. So that was great. It really was, and I'm humble and grateful and thankful for all that. So they've been the one constant in my career. And then I made my official debut, I believe it was, I wanted to say 1990, but it wasn't. 1991 made my official debut. And then went on to be into the business well into the middle 2000s. And could have stayed. I believe my last in-ring action was 07 and 08. So from, and then all kinds of talk shows, national TV, movies, plus supporting my family, being divorced, raising 2 daughters, one who was severely handicapped, passed away in 2011. 2015. See what happens when you get older? January 11th, 2015. 2011 is when I retired from behind the walls. So forever grateful and humble. Just to give you a little background here, I wanted to throw in some extra. Get a nice long show up for you guys. Let you see more of me and the trials and tribulations and hard times that we all go through. You guys feel it. You know it. So again, my last in-ring action, 07, 08. Still active today. color commentator, broadcaster. I've done pay-per-view, I pay-per-view, Fight TV. So yeah, it's been one heck of a run, and I'm not going anywhere yet. I have to leave my family. So I'm not going anywhere yet. Just want to give you guys a little bit of me. The GOC. I'll say that to say this. Because I tell it like it is. Don't you dare miss it.